So our project is improving Burundi, and we want to accomplish this by improving their cropping techniques and their crop development. Our group consists of Catherine, Gina, Haley, and Alexa. So Burundi is located on the southeastern side of Africa, directly south of Rwanda. With wildlife, lush forests, and grasslands, Burundi seems to be picturesque. In the early 1990s, Burundi experienced a civil war and genocide that devastated the people and the nation as a whole. This also influenced the economy and agriculture in Burundi. Some of the problems that the Burundians are facing with their cropping techniques are the geography, the people, the climate, and the agriculture. So the first problem at hand is the geography. Like I stated before, it is landlocked in the heart of Africa, a little south of the equator, on the eastern shore of Lake Tanganyika. It's bordered by Rwanda to the north, the Democratic Republic of Congo to the west, and Tanzania to the south and east. The landscape is characterized by hills and valleys covered with eucalyptus trees, banana groves, cultivated fields, and pastures. In the east, the fertile area gives way to savanna grassland, and because of the steep hills and mountains in the area, irrigation, planting, in Burundi are limited if not impossible. There are only a few areas that would be of worth to plant in, and those are the Imbo Plains and the Northeast and East Depressions. So here's a picture of Burundi. As you can see, it's really steep and there's a lot of depressions, so it would make cropping difficult for them. Another problem at hand are the people. Burundi has one of the highest population densities in Africa with 6 million people. It has a lack of proper nutrition. Carbohydrates are obviously the biggest part of the Burundian diet. For the most part, vitamin C and vitamin A are not deficient, and the diet provides good sources of fiber. While many of the foods contain a few grams of protein, only 6 grams of protein actually come from meat sources. Approximately 43% of the children who are under 5 are stunted, and 9% of the population is wasted because of malnutrition. Bananas, coffee, beans, potatoes, rice, and peas are staples in Burundian cooking. Not many sweet foods are eaten, and snacks are often fruit. Another concern for Burundians that relates directly to their crop development is government corruption and foreign aid. Companies are seeking to navigate the environment, but they are changing the rules within as well. So foreign aid represents about 42% of Burundi's national income, which is the second highest rate in sub-Saharan Africa. So at this rate, they will continue to remain heavily dependent on the government. The last two problems at hand are the climate and the agriculture. So the major concern for Burundians is their land. Burundi has 2 rainy seasons from February to May and 2 shorter dry seasons from June to August and then December to January. These seasons are concerns because it leads to poor crop development, making growing crops difficult and impossible. Land fertility is also jeopardized because the rain washes away any planting that they do, and then because of steep hills and mountains in the area, irrigation and planting are limited if not impossible. The average annual rainfall is about 150 centimeters, and the Imbo Plains in the northeast and east depressions are used to plant sugar and coffee that are used for exportation, and those are really the only areas right now that would be of worth for them to crop in. So what we want to do with our project is help them become better educated about different cropping techniques so that it will help with their nutrition. And we want them to become more self-sufficient rather than relying on government and foreign aid.
In our efforts to find methods to improve the health in Burundi, we directed our attention to vetiver grass and systems of rice intensification. Both of these methods are used to improve farming techniques and enhance the health of those suffering in similar economic, agricultural, or political statuses to Burundi. In our first intervention with vetiver grass, it is focused on a tropical plant that grows in large clumps and has roots that grow deeply and intricately. When planted systematically, this plant can trap crop residue and silts, which are eroded by runoff, enabling the plant to form a natural earth embankment. With concern of poor planting methods and poor weather conditions in Burundi, the vetiver grass would provide a sustainable option, which could enhance the environmental status of their crops and ultimately protect their crops from the elements that may cause hazard to their food sources. As the vetiver grass is used as a natural earth embankment, it has many agricultural uses for soil and water conservation, soil moisture improvement, groundwater recharge, recycling soil nutrients, pest control, mulch, forage, cleanup of agricultural contaminated water waste, and protection of farm infrastructure. As shown on this slide, these are some of the steps that are taken in order to properly grow the vetiver grass. They prepare it in such a way that they have a nursery to grow the roots to 4 to 6 inches long, preventing them from drying. And what they do in order to plant these is they trim them to a certain height and they divide them individually. And as they plant them, they split them into a properly dug terrace on, on spacing between 4 to 6 inches. This provides that natural earth embankment that could protect the crops ultimately that the people in Burundi will be planting. As the second method of interventions, the systems of rice intensification is a set of farming practices developed to increase the productivity of land and water, along with other resources. This is done by creating deep root systems that can better resist drought, waterlogging, and wind damage. So, through the methods of system of rice intensification, the people of Burundi will have the knowledge of what can increase the amount they produce in each crop. And a great disclaimer to this method is that it's not only applicable to rice crops, but is being applied to other crops, which can provide the necessary nutrients and energy that the people may need. As shown on the slide, the methods to accomplish this system of rice intensification is done through the following steps. The seedlings get transplanted at a much younger age, and only single seedlings instead of a handful of seedlings get planted in each hill. With these, plants are spaced wider apart and in a square pattern. Intermittent water application to create wet and dry soil conditions instead of continuous flood irrigation. Rotary weeding to control weeds and promote soil aeration. And increased use of organic fertilizer to enhance soil fertility. Through each of these methods, it increases the capability of each crop to sustain itself and also to produce more because of the resources that they're using and the opportunities that the people give the crops to grow more.
Project funding is very important for the agricultural increase in Burundi. We wanted to make sure that when people donated, they donated to the expansion of the project and to people's lives other than our own paychecks. We looked into 4 main types of funding that would make the project easy to access and would make donations go to the people. We looked at grants, microfinancing in the communities that were participating in the projects, membership fees for those maybe participating, and nonprofit organizations for those that may want to donate. There are many organizations worldwide that promote a sustainable environment. This is something that Burundi is really focusing on right now because there is so much soil erosion and degradation of the soil through planting that many companies and organizations will give to this. One of those being the U.S. government. They do promote an international sustainable environment, and this is something that is very important to Burundians currently. Because of the state of the soil and the landscape, a lot of the crops are not coming to fruit as well as they could. And so if we can promote that, then the lives in Burundi will be vastly improved. They also offer national grants in Burundi to promote the economy and to be able to have people live a happier, healthier life. There's also nonprofit assistance that happens in cases like these. One company that has been known to offer assistance is the vetiver grass system. They have been known to offer seeds and to help out foundations such as this to be able to have people live better lives and to have less soil erosion and more sustainable crops and profits because of the agricultural increase that they will expect from this system. While looking into different types of funding for the system that we plan to put in place in Burundi, we also looked at community funding. We looked at microfinancing and membership fees. Microfinancing we have seen throughout the semester that is very good for people and communities. We have seen that not only the acquiring of the funds to have the person purchase the goods or the seeds or the crop that they need to initially advance their business, we also have learned that through paying back that loan that the person feels empowered. And this is something that is really important, especially in growing your own business, and something that we feel like could be very sustainable in Burundi. It would also help to increase people's farming lands overall, because they would be able to purchase a plot of land, pay back the loan, and then purchase a larger plot of land with another microloan. This would increase their profit, and it would also increase the amount of crop that they're producing, and hopefully increase the amount of nutrition that the people are receiving. We also looked at membership fees, and this again is something for the people that are involved in the project. It would be a small fee that would promote the sustainability of the project, to keep grass coming in, to keep seeds coming in, and to be able to continue education for the people. This is something that could be very important and useful in this situation, just because we do want to keep it sustainable for the people. We would like to teach regional leaders so that they could teach the community members, and overall have a sustainable system just by themselves. Sustainability is very important to the project. We really think that it is important that health educators will be able to teach the regional representatives how to apply the SRI and vetiver techniques to farming and distributing the vetiver grass bunches. This also includes teaching people in each community how to plant, how to sustain, and how to keep the rice and the grasses from dying, and how to help them be as good as they possibly can be. This is very important because this is how the agriculture will grow and will be able to keep going even after we have left the area. The vetiver grass system is very important. They're an international company that is a nonprofit and distributes grass to areas to promote a sustainable environment. The leaders in the group that we will be teaching will be able to teach others this system and be able to keep the system going longer than we would have normally. It's really important that we keep doing this because we want to make sure that this is going to continue through decades, and over time the grass system and the agriculture will only get better.
Both the system of rice intensification and the vetiver grass improve soil conditions. The vetiver grass also helps reduce soil erosion because of its deep roots and ability to block dirt from sliding. They also significantly increase the crop yields and maximize productivity of farmers because of better farming techniques and growing conditions. As crops increase, the availability of food will also increase, helping to solve the malnutrition problems in Burundi. With continued success, farmers may be able to sell vetiver grass bunches or surplus crops, thus creating more income. As additional benefits, the roots of vetiver grass also help purify water. The grass itself can be used as thatch, and the plant acts as a pest control. This is one illustration of how the roots of vetiver grass can be used to purify groundwater. In this instance, a latrine has been placed between rows of vetiver grass, and as the sludge passes through the roots, the water is filtered. Similar processes occur with vetiver water filtration, even without the use of vetiver grass specifically for latrines. With a program such as rice intensification system and vetiver grass come a few barriers. These barriers include tradition, distance, and income. The following slides will explain these. Despite decades of erosion and unsuccessful farming, the typical cropping techniques are still being used. Farmers, like the one shown above, lose entire crops from erosion, but tradition rules out. Because the interventions change the way typical farming would be done, there may be many people who may struggle to adjust. Additionally, because these cropping techniques are not common practice in Burundi, many people may doubt the benefits and success that will be the result of these programs. They may regard the program as being a drastic change, which could potentially put them at risk for crop failure that year. Proper marketing of the program, however, will help persuade leaders to adopt the new techniques and experience success. Their actions and results will influence other farmers who also adopt the new cropping techniques. With continued adoption and success, the cropping interventions will become traditions of their own right. Burundi is 10,745 miles square. It is about 163 miles from north-northwest to south-southwest, and 121 miles from east-southeast to west-northwest. Depending on where we create our intervention, it may be difficult for some people to participate because of distance. The program will be divided according to 15 regions of Burundi, however. This will enable representatives from each region to travel shorter distance to oversee the progress of the program. In Burundi, the average GDP per capita each year is $600. This is hardly enough to survive on, let alone purchase vetiver grass. Farmers will receive a microfinance loan to purchase vetiver grass. This loan and a small interest amount will be paid back as crops are successfully grown. Once the system has been established, farmers may be able to sell parts of their vetiver grass to other farmers, and entirely new vetiver plants will not need to be purchased for the program. This will also help with sustainability of the program. This is a picture of a farmer who uses vetiver grass on his farm to create terraces for growing on a slope. He also used the grass to create thatch on his roof, which lasted 11 years. He sells vetiver grass to his neighbors for 10 cents per clump and can be paid to put thatch on his neighbors' roofs as well. This successful endeavor can all be stimulated by microfinance for those who cannot afford to initially purchase vetiver grass on their own.